Hello everyone. For today's topic, we discuss all about law enforcement with my group mates. What is law enforcement? Law enforcement has the first pillar is considered to be initiators or the prime mover of the system of the CJS ng ating bansa. It is considered again as the initiator of the actions that the other pillars who must act upon to attain its goal or its objective. So without the policemen, the PNP or the law enforcement agencies or yung bodies sa ating bansa initiating the action of arresting of investigating crime, hindi gagana ang CJS kung walang action. Yan ay ang law enforcement pillar. As you can see, the function of the law enforcement pillar in general is to prevent criminal behavior. Ito yung prevent yung commission of crimes para mapigilan yung tao na mag-commit ng crime. Is we have to reduce crime or lessen the desire for him not to commit a crime. Anong gagawin para ma-reduce ang crime? We have visibility of the police like patrolling and checkpoints. Is to apprehend and arrest offenders. Yung manghuli na nag-violate sa law na kanilang pinapatungad sa mga offenders na tinatawag natin is to protect life and property. It is essentially the purpose why PNP was created to safeguard life and property as law enforcer. Ang fundamental na kanilang duty is to safeguard and property ng community. Last, to regulate non-criminal conduct. Ito naman yung ibang gawain na walang kinalaman sa paghuli ng criminal. Usually, it involves the community service ba yung may offer nila sa community to serve. For example, like Brigada Eskwela as a part of their service na hindi related sa criminal conduct. So yun po ang function ng first pillar in general. Next is we have the concept of police. Let's discuss first the concept of police service. So meron tayong dalawa, the old concept and modern concept. So ang old concept, we have the punishment and arrest. Means throwing people, even more criminal people, in jail rather than keeping them out of the jail. Punishment and arrest, ano yung kinalaman ng punishment and arrest? Ang punishment po ay yung ginagamit nila para makontrol ang crime. That is old concept. Next, we have modern concept. Yung police visibility na tinatawag natin and the omnipresence. They make sure na laging present ang police sa community para makontrol ang commission ng crime. So, ang yardstick nila na gamit ay absence of crime. And tinatawag din natin itong reactive and proactive. Reactive is the old concept and the proactive is modern concept. Second one is theories of police service. We have the home rule theory, servant of the community. Home rule theory, nakalagay dyan, servants of the community, meaning to say, ang mga kapulisan daw natin ay considered as servants of the community who defends further effectiveness of their function upon the express wishes and ng mga tao. In short, ang pulis po natin ay kinukonsidered natin as servants of the public, the servants whose duty is the preservation of public peace and security. Tulad ng PNP natin ngayon, di ba, their kanilang gawa is to serve and protect. The second one is the continental theory, servant of the higher authorities. Continental theory is considered as servants of higher authorities. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay hindi po yung public ang hindi po yung community yung kanilang pinagsisilbihan, and the people have little or no share at all in their duties, no any direct connection with them, and continental theory solely focus on the higher authorities or hindi sila magsisilbi para sa community.
Different government police law enforcement agencies: Philippine National Police (PNP), National Bureau of Investigation (NBI), Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency (PDEA), Bureau of Internal Revenue (BIR), Bureau of Customs, Bangko Central ng Pilipinas, Bureau of Immigration, Bureau of Food and Drugs, Intellectual Property Office, Lands Transformation Office, Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, Office of Management and Budget.
Philippine National Police. PNP is the Armed National Police Force in the Philippines. Its national headquarters is located at Camp Crame in Bagong Lipunan ng Crame, Quezon City. Currently, it has approximately 220,000 personnel to the police and a population in excess of 100 million. Article 16, Section 6 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The state shall establish and maintain one police force which shall be national in scope and civilian in character, to be administered and controlled by a national police commission. So, ang trabaho ng mga pulis ay enforce the law, prevent and control crimes, maintain peace and order, and ensure public safety and internal security with the active support of the community, and bringing offenders to justice.
Ito yung function nila na nakasaad dun sa batas na dapat nilang gawin. Ano ba yung function and yung kanilang power? First, prevention of crimes. Second, repression, suppression of crime. So, mabawasan, di ba? Mapigilan. Third, apprehension of offender. Ito ay paghuhuli ng mga kriminal. Fourth, conduct, research, and seizure. Napapag-usapan natin sa susunod na topic together with the arrest and apprehension of offender. Dahil isa pa yan sa kanilang pinaka-major nilang trabaho. Panghuhuli and pagkakandak together with investigation of crime. The last, protection of lives and property.
National Bureau of Investigation. NBI is an agency of the Philippines government under the Department of Justice responsible for handling and solving major high-profile cases that are in interest of the nation. The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, undertakes efficient detection and investigate of crimes and other offenses against the law of the Philippines. Upon its own initiative and public interest may require render technical assistance upon request in investigation and detection of crime and other. November 13, 1936 Commonwealth Act No. 181, branch of the late President Manuel L. Quezon and Jose A. Julio, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. The PDEA is lead anti-drug law enforcement agency responsible for preventing, investigating, and combating any dangerous drug. Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, is responsible for efficient law enforcement of all provision in any dangerous drug or precursor and essential chemical. The volume of drugs and non-drugs evidence confiscated depend on the actual confiscation during anti-drug operation. Backbone and Philippine Drug Law Enforcement System.
Bureau of Internal Revenue. BIR is the revenue service for the Philippine government, which is responsible for collecting more than half of the total revenues of the government. It is agency of the Department of Finance and it is led by a commissioner. The Bureau of Internal Revenue shall be under the supervision and control of department. Its power and duties shall compare the assessment and collection of the nation internal revenue, tax, fees, and charges, and the enforcement of penalties and fines. The enforce tax laws and regulation. Tax regulation means the law of taxation or customs, as well as any regulation, decrease, decision, circular, or other text on the application or interpretation of the said law. Investigates tax evasions case are a similar violation. Tax evasion can be either the illegal non-paying or underpayment of actual tax liabilities due, and tax evasion determine the agency tax was willful on the part of the taxpayer. Now the last part is under the Department of Finance. The Department of Finance (DOF) is responsible for the management of the government financial resources. Its duties include policy formation, revenue generation, resource mobilization, debt management, and financial market development.
BOC Bureau of Custom tasked to enforce custom and tariff duties in all Philippine airport and seaport nationwide. Sila po yung nag-a-arrest ng mga smuggling ng mga tao at investigate and arrest smuggler and those suspect violator of custom under the supervised control of Department Finance. Sila po yung nagproprotekta sa mga pumapasok ng mga kargo sa mga pier para sa protection ng government. Hindi na maiwasan ang pag-push ng mga baril at mga animals na galing sa mga ibang bansa. Bureau of Custom po ang bahala dyan.
Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is the Central Bank of the Republic of the Philippines. It was established on July 3, 1993, pursuant to the provision of the 1997 Philippine Constitution and the new Central Bank Act of 1993. Agency regulates banking industry and enforces banking laws. Investigate, arrest, and prosecute counterfeit currency manufacturers and passers. Po yung mga nagmamanufacture ng mga pegging coins. Bangko Sentral Pilipinas is the agency's authority and power to investigate against the offenders.
Bureau of Immigration, also known as Kawanihan ng Pandarayuhan, between 1972 and 1987, as the Bureau of Immigration and Deportation, is the immigration regulatory and control body of the Philippines. It was established by the Philippine Immigration Act in 1940. Attached agency under the Department of Justice, thus enforce the immigration laws of the country. Investigate and arrest illegal and undocumented aliens, foreign fugitives, yung mga nagtatagong kriminal, yung mga takas na criminal from other countries, and criminal operating in the country. Sila ang may power and authority to investigate, arrest, and for the detention of the foreigners in violation of immigration, regulation, and other Philippines laws. Yung mga foreigners natin dito sa bansa na may sabit sa batas, ang Bureau of Immigration ang bahala. Bureau of Food and Drugs (BFAD) is a health regulatory agency under the Department of Health, created on 1963 by Republic Act No. 3720, amended on 1987 by Executive Order 175, otherwise known as the Food, Drugs, Devices, and Cosmetics Act, the subsequently reorganized of Republic Act No. 9711, otherwise known as the Food and Drugs Administration Act of 2009. The agency is responsible for the licensing, monitoring, and regulation of cosmetics, drugs, foods, households, hazardous product, medical devices, and electromagnetic radiation, emitting devices, pesticides, tobacco and related products, and the vaccines for safety and quality in the Republic of the Philippines. Bureau of Food and Drugs enforces and regulates manufacturers of food drugs, investigates and arrests unscrupulous manufacturers and makers of substandard food and drugs without license or permits. Ini-ensure kasi ng BFAD na safe and goods yung quality ng mga produkto like processed foods, the drugs sa mga gamot natin, the cosmetics, and the regulate product and the sales to protect the health of the consumers. Sila yung nagbabantay at nag-check kung maganda ba at kung pasado ba yung mga produkto na ginagawa ng mga manufacturers. Iniiwasan ang mga substandard na food and drugs na hindi lisensyado na walang permit ang mga gumagawa nito.
Intellectual Property Office, interagency attached under the Department of Trade and Industry, enforces law pertaining intellectual property and copyright law. Ang Intellectual Property Office ay official body ng government responsible for intellectual property, IP, rights including patent, design, trademarks, and copyright. Ang IPO exclusive agency is sponsored by Department of Business, Innovation, and Skills. Land Transportation Office, LTO, is an agency of the Philippine government under the Department of Transportation responsible for all transportation in the Philippines. So sila yung responsable sa lahat ng land transportation in the Philippines. Thus to regulate land transportation industry and enforce transportation law and regulation. Investigate, arrest, and prosecute colorum or out-of-the-line vehicle. So sila din yung nag-regulate at nag-enforce ng land transportation laws. At sila yun yung nanghuhuli ng mga colorum na vehicles. So ang trabaho din ng LTO ay tasked with collecting various fees from a registration of motor vehicles, the issuance of license to qualified motor vehicle drivers, the collecting of fines and penalties for motor vehicle-related infractions, and the sale of motor vehicle license plate. MTRCV operates against pornographic films shown in television and movie houses. The Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. So sila yung responsible for rating television and film for the Philippines. So sila yung nag-rate kung masagwa ba yung panood or may harass ba na nangyayari. At kailangan ba ng patnubay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood or pang matanda ba to or pang bata. Optical Media Board, Videogram Regulatory Board, operates against the proliferation of fake and pirated VHS, DVD, VCD, or CD tapes. So sila yung nag-ooperate against the mga pinagbabawal at fake and pirated na VHS, DVD, VCD, or CD tapes. Sila rin yung nagre-regulate the mastering of manufacturing information and exportation of optical media products and manufacturing materials as part of ensuring and protection and promotion of intellectual property rights.